Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to create an email campaign. This is going to be a three-part series. In this part we will discuss about how you can configure BitFaster, how to add an SMTP server and a POP server. Let's get started. The first and foremost thing, after you install BitFaster, you need to configure the options. This is a one-time configuration. So the first thing that you would do here is pick a GMT value based on whichever location you are in. Once you have done that, just click on BitFaster results. As you can see here, we have a couple of fields, customer ID and PIN. Now BitFaster results is used for email tracking and alerts. I'm not going to be discussing about alerts in this particular series. So you will need the customer ID and PIN to track your email campaigns. So if you already have an account, you can just enter the customer ID and PIN here. If not, please sign up. You can get a 30-day free trial for 5 campaigns. So just make sure that you fill up the name, company name and email address. Your email address has to be correct because you will get a verification email. You click on the verify link and then you will immediately get a customer PIN and code. So once you have these two pieces of information, just click on verify to make sure your account is correct. As you can see here, I've got a confirmation saying that the account is valid till 30th of May and I can track 2 email campaigns and 3 alerts. Once this is set up, just go to the mail settings. Now the first thing you would look at is about threads. Now threads are nothing but simultaneous connections to your SMTP server. Now please remember, in BitFaster you will need an SMTP server to send out email campaigns. There is no built-in SMTP account or server. In fact, that is not going to work. So you will have to have an authenticated SMTP server or an account with you. So the number of threads basically tells BitFaster as to how many simultaneous connections it can make to the SMTP server. The higher the number, the faster the message delivery. So please make sure you talk to your system administrator or your email host to see what is the level of threads that your SMTP server can take. So it's already set at 3, so this is quite optimum. The second option is you can also tell BitFaster how many times it can retry in a campaign, in the sense if there are any failures in between. Let's assume you have a database of 5,000 and after sending some 50 or 60 there are a couple of messages which couldn't be sent. These are going to be retried later, so you have to tell BitFaster how many times it can retry. If you put a value of 0, there is no retry. Then there is a very important feature that BitFaster supports, which is called throttling. Now this is something that you need to talk to your email host, because normally what happens is if you are on a shared server, you will have an hourly limit like 200 or 300 messages. So make sure that this is configured as per the guidelines given by your email host. If your business host is not giving you this, you can opt for a third-party SMTP server where they'll have a higher limit. So it's like telling BitFaster that look, you need to send 100 messages and then wait for 10 minutes before you pick the next 100. So this is configured based on your requirement. Thereafter, there are 2 additional pieces of header that you can send as part of your campaigns. Most probably these are utilized by Gmail, so just make sure you enable these 2 things. Coming to the bounced message settings, by default bounced messages, if if a message is a hard bounce, BitFaster will automatically deactivate the contact. Please remember, it will deactivate the contact, not remove the contact from your database after one hard bounce. And if it is a soft bounce, it can wait up to 10 times. So which means if you send out multiple campaigns and you have soft bounces coming, a soft bounce is something where it's a temporary issue. Your recipient email server has a temporary issue, like for instance, it could be out of space, whereas a hard bounce is a permanent error. Probably the person has left the company, so the email address is no longer active, so you don't need to resend. So BitFaster will automatically deactivate the contact after one hard bounce. BitFaster uses a catch-all account to track bounced messages. So with regard to catch-all account, please talk to your email host again, because they will tell you how it can be configured. And by default, since you will have a catch-all account, there is every possibility of junk email getting in. So BitFaster will eliminate that junk automatically for you. You don't have to worry about it. And then you can also configure notification settings. So at the end of the campaign, you would like to be notified by either email or by SMS. You can put that piece of information here. If it is by email, just put your email address here. If it's by mobile, put your mobile number. Of course, this will depend on your SMS gateway. The format of the number will depend on your SMS gateway. So just make sure you get this information from your gateway provider. So once you have configured this, just make sure you hit the update button so that your settings are saved. Once this is done, you can define one or more SMTP servers. The reason I said one or more SMTP servers is BitFaster can support a feature called load balancing. When we say load balancing, if let's assume you have a database of 5,000 users and you are sending out an email campaign. Let's say you want to target that the campaign should be done in a couple of hours. It's always better to have more than one SMTP account added here, so you can balance the load and get the delivery done faster. Now to add an SMTP server, you can just right click and say new SMTP server. You could give your server any name. It's only for your reference. So let's say we call it server 1. Then again, you will have a host address. This is again given by your email host or web host. Please talk to them. Probably it will be something like mail.myhost.com. Then you will have a username. Username is generally your email address itself. So this could be something like info@myhost.com. And of course you will get a password. So this again, please remember this is case sensitive. By default, SMTP uses port 25, but again port 25 could be blocked by your ISP. So make sure you have an alternate port, especially for bigger campaigns. You should have an alternate port. You can talk to your service provider about this. Some of them use 26, or they might even give you 587 depending on their configuration. Generally the timeout is 30 seconds, after which BitFaster automatically says yes, this message failed, it could not be sent. If you have configured the retry, it will come back and try again at the end of the campaign, and 30 seconds is the default. Again, you can set up the encryption part. This is again dependent on your SMTP host, so it could be SSL or TLS. If encryption is not required, you can just uncheck this, just update the port and you are done. Make sure you run a test. Now if you have to test, as I showed you in the options window, there is a notifications tab. You should have entered an email address, otherwise it will tell you that the default notify email address was not found. So you need to configure this in the options window. If you have configured it and you click on test, you will get a message if all the settings are accurate. So let's just go ahead and add this for now. And as I said, you can have one or more SMTP servers configured. Once you have configured this, you will also configure a POP account. Now, why do I need a POP account? As I told you earlier, BitFaster can manage bounced messages. You will need a catch-all account and you will need a POP account. So just make sure that the catch-all account is pointing to this particular POP account. The configuration of this will depend on how your email host provides the information. So again, when you add the POP server, the server name is for your reference. You can just say, let's call this bounce handling server. And the host address will again depend on what your email host gives you. So let's call this myhost.com, and this could be something like bounce handler at myhost.com with the password. Normally the POP port is 110. If there is any change in it, please check with your service provider. And timeout is again 30 seconds. If you need an SSL connection to your POP account, just make sure you enable this checkbox. And you're telling BitFaster this server is used for bounced message processing. And what happens once the message is downloaded from the server? You can tell the action that BitFaster needs to take. So it could be either saying leave a copy on the server or delete the message anyway. It's better you delete the message, because once it's downloaded to BitFaster, you no longer need this particular message on the server. If you want to test the server settings, you can click on test. Of course, there's no message that comes out as an email, so even if you don't have a notification address mentioned in the options window, you don't have to worry. This will just test the connection and tell you whether it succeeded or not. So once you're done this with this, you can just click on add. There is also a possibility that you can have multiple bounced servers. This depends on your requirement, but in general, most probably you will have only one POP server added here. So I hope you enjoyed this video. We have part 2 and part 3 also coming up, so please don't forget to watch them. To learn more about BitFaster, please subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions or suggestions, please use the comment section below and we'll respond as soon as possible. You can download BitFaster Professional for free from our website bitfaster.com. Thanks for your time and have a nice day.